Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? So I am extremely excited for this video because today I am going to be doing my perfect blue palette. So this is just going to be a palette that is made up of blue shadows that I just gathered from my indie collection. I kind of went through and pulled out every single blue shadow that I have, and then I put them all together and I categorized them, and I did like light mattes, bright mattes, deep mattes, light metallics, and then I went through and chose my favorites of each category, and that is how I ended up with my little palette. So I'm just using one from Davina. I'm not sure if they're still selling these, but this holds 12 shadows and I feel like it looks like legit because of the way that the palette is. So this is what my perfect blue palette looks like, and I feel like it's so pretty and fun. I went back and forth on the shades a little bit. I was kind of debating throwing in one brown just because I feel like brown and blue complement each other really well, but in the end I just decided no, what the heck, I'm just gonna go all blue. So I went all blue and I feel like it's really, really beautiful. Such amazing shades in here, and I am going to be doing a week of blue, which will be live on my channel tomorrow. This is one of the looks, in case you are curious how to get it. I did obviously use all these shades. It'd be pretty awkward if I chose these shades and used different blues. So I hope you guys are excited about this video. I did ask, because Jeffree Star came out with the Blue Blood palette, I asked you guys if you wanted to see me do a dupe of that or just do my own personal version of what I would love to see as a blue palette. And I think it was like 40% dupes and like 55% perfect palette, and then there was like a few people who didn't want anything. So if that was you, I'm sorry. So the winner was for me to do my own palette, which I think is actually more fun because then I just get to go through and choose my favorites and not try and match what someone else did. So I think that's all I have to say. Let's just go ahead and jump right on in. I'm going to walk you through all the shadows that I picked, swatch them all for you, tell you how I feel about them, and then, like I said, tomorrow will be the 5 looks using this so you can get some inspiration. I even painted my nails blue. This is I can't remember what the color is. It's from Kale Polish, and it's literally the only blue nail polish that I have, so I went with it. So the first shade in the palette is from Sydney Grace Cosmetics, and this is Blue Mist. It is a metallic white to blue duochrome shift. It is not the most metallic duochrome ever, but it does have that beautiful shift to it, and it's one of the only white to blue duochromes that I have. Most of them are white to green, white to purple, but this is truly white to blue. It is what I have on my inner corner today. So there is Blue Mist. Next is another shade from Sydney Grace, and this is called Perfect Storm. I actually have quite a few shadows with this tone, but I went ahead and swatched them all, and I felt like the Sydney Grace one looked the best, so that's the one I decided to go ahead and do. And here's what it looks like. It is just a really beautiful pastel matte shade. I feel like Sydney Grace mattes do not swatch anywhere near as well as they perform. I'm gonna do a second layer, but it's just a beautiful light baby blue. Okay, so the next shade here is from Shade Beauty, and this is called Zen, and I chose this one because I feel like it is a really unique shade. It's a light shimmer. I would say it's a shimmer, not metallic, but it has a blue to gold shift. I feel like it is really, really beautiful, and I thought it would add something nice to the palette. It's just a really beautiful light blue. And I don't know how much you're going to be able to see the gold shift on camera, but you can really see it in person. Look at that. I love the shade of this lipstick that I'm wearing right now, but it's one of those lipsticks that gives a really bad white line, so if you notice that, I'm sorry. But the next shade is from Davina, and this is the shade Ludic. I just knew I had to include this in here. It is kind of like a blue with a little bit of a green undertone to it, but it is just the most beautiful, unique blue shade, and I was like, I have to use it in this palette because it is just so unique and just, it is everything. So there's Ludic. Okay, so the first shade in the second row is from Looxi, and this is called Prom Queen. I'm not sure if this is still available or if it's just something that you can only buy whenever they open their vault, but it is such a beautiful shade. It's similar to one that I have from Cliona. I'll try and remember to link it down below or post it, whatever it is. That way you can have an alternative just in case Prom Queen is not available, but it is the most beautiful icy blue, tiny little hint of green to it, metallic shade. Oh, I love it. that is what I have on the inner part of my eyelid today. Okay, the next shade is from Sydney Grace Cosmetics, and this is Oasis. It is like the perfect like sky blue. Okay, so the next shade in the palette right here is from Touch of Glam Beauty, and it is called Bottomless Sea. It is like that perfect mid-tone true blue metallic shade, so I felt like it really belonged here, and it is very, very beautiful. Super metallic again, like alright, so the last shade in this row is from Colored Rain. This is one of their pressed pigments, Vivid Pigments, in the shade Drip Drop, and I don't know if these are still available for purchase individually. I know that they changed them to a palette or something, which I think is kind of like, I don't understand why they did singles before a palette, but even if they're not available, you know, you can just look through your own collection, your own eyeshadows, and see if you have anything similar to this. You don't have to, like, you can just use a bunch of palettes. You don't have to use the exact singles that I use. This is simply for inspiration. So here is Drip Drop. Do another swatch. Just like a super bright blue. Okay, so the next shade in the palette is from Amy Hearts Beauty, and it is called Turquoise, which it is pretty much like a true turquoise shade, but it's like a little bit deeper of a metallic, and it is like, ooh, just look at that. That is so beautiful. Alright, so the last metallic shade in the palette is Looxi Close Your Eyes, and it is just a really true, you can see, just beautiful, deep blue, and I thought, you know, I was just trying to go through and like keep it really even, do like, you know, a good amount of mattes, a good amount of shimmers. They're even 6 mattes, 6 shimmers, and I wanted to have like a color for everything across the board, and I feel like this blue is so metallic and so stunning, and like I'm not normally someone who reaches for like deeper shimmer shades, but this one is really, really good. Like, look at that. Alright, next is Colored Rain Yacht Life, and this is a matte shade. I feel like this was kind of necessary, like that super, super true, deep, like navy blue, and this one is really pigmented. Like, look at that. Colored Rain's Vivid Pigments are not my absolute favorite shadows to work with, but I find when you use them with normal shadows that I can make them work a little bit better, and I do feel like this is a really good addition to the palette. Like, look at that. My fingers are going to be stained blue again. Okay, last but not least for the palette is Looxi Come Hither. And I will say that the formula of the shadow is not my absolute favorite. I feel like you can make it work, but it's definitely a little bit drier, something you definitely have to build up a bit. But I felt like it was something that would go really well with this palette. It would ground it a little bit more because it is still like a super deep blue. But obviously you can see like Yacht Life is super bright, and this is like just like a nice toned down, but still blue. So I like that one for this. This lipstick is driving me crazy. Definitely do not recommend the formula of ColourPop Boy. All the other Luxe lipsticks are so good, and this one is like, no, it's just not working for me. Alright, so here's Looxi Come Hither, and that is like kind of like digging into the pan. Like I said, it's something you do have to build up. It doesn't swatch very well, but I don't have like, you know, 8 million of these shades, so I kind of just went with what I had, and I mean, I can make it work just fine. So it does have a little bit of a green undertone to it. Alright, so these are all of the shades from my Perfect Blue palette swatched. I feel like they look super, super beautiful. Definitely a little bit of a green undertone going on here, but I still think it's really, really nice and inspiring. And I'm excited for you guys to see all the looks that I did with these. So I think that is everything for today's video. I would love to know down below what your all-time favorite blue shadow is, or if you don't like blue shadows at all, if you just are afraid to rock them, because I feel like there's something about blue shadows that feels like very, very like 80s, or like, I don't know, I feel like blue is probably one of the colors people will wear most if it's paired with browns, but just blue eye looks by themselves I don't see people do as often, not even me. So this week is getting me out of my comfort zone, even though I apparently cannot speak right now because it's like past 1 a.m. because I'm crazy. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.